Hey guys, are we back? I'm sorry. Our power just keeps going out. I don't know. I thought this was just like maybe since we were getting some really sorry. And I forget that when my computer gets restarted, my microphone is also really low. Hi everyone. Oh, you guys are probably still stuck in the ether. New stream is up. In YouTube, the way they do these streams is actually really annoying. So like they have slots for each stream, and then if people are still in the old slot and I start a new one, they have to move over to the new slot. I wish YouTube would just be freaking smarter about this and just have the same stream up in case people get disconnected. So for Twitch, if you disconnect on Twitch, you're just still on the page, and if I start a new stream, it'll be good. But on YouTube, it takes a while for people, and then they have to. It's really dumb because like it's also annoying too as a viewer because you have to exit out this stream and then you have to go into the new stream. So I don't know. I hope they fix that. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna when I end the stream, we'll have to contact the power company. I don't know if it's because maybe we've been getting really bad rain and maybe they're still working out maybe some trees fell and they're just working out some kinks or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know, man. But hi, everyone. I'm sorry. Welcome back. Ah! Yeah, you're back. Hi. I'm sorry. We lost power for a second. And when we lose power, it's not like we lose power for a long time. It's like a blip. And then the reason why it takes so long for me to start back up is because it takes a while for my internet to start back up after it dies. But my computer can restart just like that. It's the internet that takes a little bit. The end is coming. I know. I mean, I was telling you guys about the picture with the palm trees and the sky was really dark and there was like snow everywhere. So there's that. Speaking of which, though, have you guys ever seen that movie on Netflix? It's really good. I highly recommend it. I forgot what it's called though, but it's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer. What's her name? Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. Is her name Jennifer? Jennifer Lawrence. You guys should watch that. The movie is so good. Ending's really sad though. But hi again. Hello, hello. Hi everyone. Don't look up. Yes. Really awesome. All right, guys. I mean, we're here. We're here. We're back. All right, guys. Where were we? Oh man. So now this stream is chopped into 2 segments. I'm gonna have to like push it back together. All right, everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for being patient. I'm sorry we DC'd, but we're back. We're here. We're here with we're trying to watch this interview with JimJim and Chanley Painter, but we're gonna listen to Vinny, and then I'm assuming these 2 are also lawyers as well, so we're gonna listen to their input. It's been forever, I know. I've neglected you guys. Where have I been? Hi, David. All right, guys. Thank you so much for waiting. Wait, so someone mentioned the Harpoolian messed up and he said it again? Was that in the same interview or no? I didn't hear it again. Maybe he accidentally dropped it again, like later on in a different like interview or segment or something like that. Okay, guys. Let's restart. Well, we'll not restart the video, but let's start where we left off, okay? So they're talking about lawyers getting hate. They're just doing their job. The lawyer on the left was like saying, yeah, they were doing their job, but at the very end of their press conference, you know, they went into defense mode. They were attacking the jury. They were attacking the judgment. They were attacking the blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I feel like that's what losers do. That's what they do, right? They have like a spiel and they kind of just go through their checklist and they're like, yeah, you know, the judge messed up. Oh, bad judgment call on this. Oh, the jury this, the jury that, and like this shouldn't be let in. So I don't know. I just feel like that's what people do when they lose. And I feel like because especially that they are planning on doing the appeal, they have to, as much as they can, still try to support their client and still try to bolster his innocence. But yeah,
no, I don't think you should say it. And he said it again and said, I'm just old school. You know, this is what happens in a high profile case. There's winners and losers. And I'm not seeing them losing with grace right now. I got to tell you, I'm not seeing them losing with grace. They're attacking the jury.
Is there a graceful way to lose? Is there? Maybe I just don't know. Maybe, you know, because obviously, maybe we got to ask like other attorneys and stuff like that. Is there a graceful way to lose, especially if you're trying to file for an appeal? Because I feel like if you're trying to file for an appeal, then you're going to still go gung-ho, right? But it's after when your appeal gets denied, you're kind of just like, okay, well, you know what? We gave it our best. We did what we can. Oh, well. It is what it is.
They're attacking the judge, and they're attacking the prosecution by being heavy-handed, and they gave as good as they got. You know, unfortunately, in this business that we're in, somebody wins and somebody loses. And Dick has won a lot of times in his life. I mean, a lot.
A lot.
But he lost this one. And I think he lost it on the playing field.
It's their whining that bothers me.
Matt, how do you see the sort of the fallout and reaction to specifically like Dick Harpootlian, Jim Griffin, as you know, all of this is coming out and the public's beginning to react?
Well, Eric, of course, I love it when you talk about going to the Wawa and getting some water. We can relate to that with the Philly accent thing. But I will tell you, obviously, and I think he would agree, the reaction is way over the top.
Okay.
Yes, I'll never justify Dick's use of that word. I kind of disagree with Eric on saying that they should just roll over and say, well, we lost. I mean, you do have appeals and you stick by it, especially if you believe the guy's innocent, right? You stick by that and say, we're going to fight this. And that's a fair thing to say as someone's attorney. And this has started long ago, the attacks on Dick and Jim, long before using that word, the podcast and whatnot, just attacking.
Can we skip over the word and talk about other things?
Alec Murdaugh. If you want to talk about his politics, whatever, it's fine. But using his name to make jokes about the fact that he's defending someone is just lazy, to be quite honest.
Wait, I'm a little confused what he's talking about. Using his name. Maybe I'll understand if I keep listening.
They were doing one of the most important jobs, and your opening, Vinny, was brilliant as always. Go back to John Adams defending the redcoats that killed people in the square, and he defended them. Defense attorneys are important. And if you want to attack them for defending Alec Murdaugh, that is just ridiculous. If you want to attack them for their politics or maybe a word they said, that's one thing. But, you know, these guys, I believe that Alec didn't do it. And they want to fight to get their friend and
Hey, John. Yep. Oh, there we go. We got some
client,
shadows. Yeah,
a just outcome. And just because, and it may
they had
have
a
been
lot of
just
guns.
outcome.
It was like a hunting lodge.
But we've seen in the past that sometimes you dig deep and things are overturned.
Now, you mentioned, this is another interesting thing we got from the post statements by Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin here, talking about Alec Murdaugh and whether or not they believe he's innocent or not. Jim Griffin spoke to us. Let's again listen to both of them on this issue. It's a fascinating slight difference in their approach to all this.
I wouldn't have defended Alex if I believed for 1 minute he killed Paul.
I don't know, man. I feel like initially Jim believed him, but come on, Jim. At this point, you got to be like, damn it. I got bamboozled. But then again, you know, people say that Jim and Alec are like really close friends, and like maybe Jim's also in denial possibly. But come on, Jim. Come on. Even Randy has a little bit of inkling.
I wouldn't have defended Alex if I believed for 1 minute he killed Paul. I can tell you that much. I would not have done that. And so...
Oh, I would not have done that. So I think he did think that he was innocent. And at some point he was just like, well, I mean, I just got to keep defending him now. It's my job.
That's what I believed then. That's what I believe now.
Are you sure?
You don't have to convince me you're innocent for me to represent you. That's not the issue. The issue is, can the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt?
Oh, I love Dick Harpootlian. I don't care if you're innocent or not. I gotta just represent you. I mean, that's the job of a defense attorney, you know. Bruce Rivers says the same thing, because I think one of the major questions that Bruce Rivers get, like for question wise, is how do you represent a client if you know they're guilty? And he's like, it's not my job to determine whether or not they're guilty.
All right, what do you think about that distinction, Eric? On the one hand, Jim Griffin is saying, listen, I wouldn't have defended him if I didn't think he was innocent. Dick Harpootlian, like, it doesn't matter if you're innocent. You don't have to convince me. It's can they prove it? And it's.
I like how there's such a word of difference between Jim's response and then like Dick's response, you know? Like Jim is like, oh, you know, I wouldn't have defended him. You know, I think he's innocent. Dick's like, I don't care if they're innocent or not.
Interesting
Loves
in perhaps their view of Alec Murdaugh.
Well, I definitely think that Dick has a different philosophy, and I kind of align myself with him. A defense attorney should never ask his client if he's innocent. He should look at the process and make sure that the charges.
But not even asking, Eric. It's not even taking the. Jim's saying I wouldn't have taken the case if I thought he did it. I wouldn't have taken the case.
Yeah, well, that's letting your own personal beliefs start to affect representation. Dick is looking at it more theoretical, saying, I want to make sure that the government brings charges properly. I want to make sure that they get warrants properly. I want to make sure that they're not overcharging them and that they proceed in accordance with the Constitution. And I certainly respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, there is a fracture that is taking place.
Question, where is Harpootlian anyway? Where is he at? Why has he got like a stage, and who is he talking to? Was it like some sort of like a Dick Harpootlian solo press conference or something? Where was he?
You saw Randolph Murdaugh in his article that was printed in the New York Times. He seems to be separating himself from the family. Not so much him saying, look, you know, there's unanswered questions, and I definitely think Alex knows some things that he's not revealing. But I think what was more telling is what he said, which happened after the murders, when he said he spent 3 weeks, as well as a lot of other people in his firm and in Alex's orbit, making a ton of phone calls, trying to figure out what happened. And Alex showed no interest in what they were doing, didn't make any phone calls himself.
Because he knew who the killer was.
And didn't seem to want to find out if there was another killer for Maggie and Paul. And that has seemed to trouble Randolph ever since. And that may be why he didn't attend most of the trial, maybe why he didn't attend it. So, look, Matt, you got me wrong. I didn't say they should come out and apologize and say no.
Did you see Nate's live stream where he was watching a talk show? One of the jurors was one of the brothers of deputies responding to the scene. He should have never been on the jury. Well, so like they go through a voir dire process where both sides will ask the jury questions and stuff like that. And the defense knew that he was related to one of the responding officers to the scene, and they allowed him on there anyway. So if they did it, they did it. You know, that's what it is.
No, we're not going to appeal. That's not what I was saying at all. But they came out strident. And there were things that they could have conceded about Alex lying to law enforcement and lying to his family and lying to his partners and causing an extraordinary amount of money to.
Oh, he was speaking on the South Carolina Senate floor. I feel like Dick, you know, when he was doing his press release with his two other lawyer buddies, he was like, nah, y'all are just dead. Y'all are just dead weight. I'm going to do a solo one, just me.
To be spent to prove the lie at the kennels. So Dick could have said, look, you know, I'm not happy with some of the lies and some of the behavior of my client. But they doubled down and said, we believe today he's more innocent than he was yesterday. And that's a day after a jury verdict.
Well, they have to because they're doing their appeal. I think at this point, everything right now that, you know, Alex's defense team, I think all they're doing right now is they're just doing their huffing and puffing, you know? They're like, okay, since we got to do the appeal, we got to keep on with this facade.
Sometimes maybe the best words you say are the words you don't say.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, they're...
Wait, why wasn't Dick wearing his Ray-Bans during the Senate when he was speaking on the Senate floor? He needs to wear his Ray-Bans.
they're the ones picking up the appeal, right? They're going to be doing the appeal, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you
That's
know,
what-
criminal
that's what I'm
defense, a
saying.
criminal defense lawyer signs a fee agreement, and it does not provide in that fee agreement
I know.
that I automatically appeal.
Right.
It's a separate agreement.
But
They have to file their notice of appeal in 10 days. And if I'm Alex Murdaugh,
Piece of hair.
somebody may say to him, maybe you should get a fresh set of eyes. Maybe Jim Griffin.
That's what I was thinking. I seriously thought for appeal, I thought he was just going to hire a new set of lawyers or something like that, right? Wouldn't you? Fresh set of eyes, like he said.
Is a little too close because he's very
Or hire people who are specifically like appellate lawyers, right? And that's their specialty.
friendly with the family. That's why Jim was such a great advocate, because he believed it in his heart.
Yeah.
But sometimes that could cloud your objectivity. And maybe, you know, we'll see down the road. Look, they're going to have a hearing quickly to schedule the Satterfield trial. I
Someone needs to tell Dick he needs to put his Ray-Bans on to block all the
know that's coming. And, you know, maybe Dick bows out. Maybe Jim bows out. Maybe Alex decides I need to bring somebody else on the team. Look, Russell
He should
Lafitte
represent
just did
himself.
it.
He's a lawyer, represent himself. That would be amazing.
You got a fool as a client.
Yeah, let's listen to this. I want you to listen to Jim Griffin here talking about Alex's reaction to the verdict.
You know, maybe the defense let the jury on because they're like, well, you know, Alec is tight with law enforcement. Maybe this law enforcement person is going to be tight with Alec as well. And this is his brother. And maybe the brother will be like, you know, maybe be influenced somehow, some sort, you know. So maybe the defense thought it was like a win for them to have the brother of the law enforcement guy onto the jury team.
What was Alex's reaction to the verdict?
Well, when it came back so quickly, you know, we had prepared him. If a quick verdict
Yikes.
is usually bad for the defense.
Yeah.
And so he was prepared for the result after we had been notified of the verdict. He was disappointed, but he wasn't totally surprised. I mean, going into it, he questioned
Yeah, he was like, shit, I'm not surprised because the evidence was heavy, and I guess I did do it.
whether he could get a fair trial in this climate. And we questioned whether he could as well, but, you know, we didn't really have much of a choice. I mean, we were dealing with the climate as it was. And, you know, I mean, he expressed to me that, you know, he had gotten his hopes up that he could get a fair trial, but at the end of the day, you know, for a lot of reasons, we don't believe, you know, he got a fair trial.
Really? Do you really believe that? Do you? I mean, I guess that's why you're appealing, I guess, right? You're going to say, like, oh, it wasn't, he didn't get a fair trial. The judge ruled on things that he shouldn't have. Oh, the jury, they must have been influenced. This was all over the news, all over the media.
All right, guests are staying
just
with us the
flat
whole
out
hour.
wrong.
What's that?
That's flat out wrong, Vinny. That's just flat out wrong. He got the fairest of trials. That was by his peers, where he lives, where his family lives. Where were you going to put this that anybody in the world doesn't know who Alex Murdaugh is? He got that in his own backyard.
Yeah, I agree. And after listening to the jurors, I agree. Matt, we just got to take a break. You're going first. Listen, Eric, Matt goes first. Next segment.
The guy on the left is so passionate. The guy on the right's like, can I speak? We're going on break. Oh, I guess I can't speak now.
Robbery and a shooting.
Okay, they're going on break. Let's come back after break. Is this break time? Oh, Chanley's back. All right, guys.
So is Alec prepared to spend the rest of his life behind bars?
I mean, he's got 99 other charges.
You know, no one wants to think about that. He's prepared to spend a significant amount of time in prison, and he always, since September 2021, I mean, he came to that realization after he found himself alive and not dead after he received a shot in the head. And, you know, he's resigned himself to prison as his life for a while. Now, is it his life till the end of his life? You know, I don't think anyone can think like that.
But it's going to be. I mean, 2 consecutive life sentences, plus all the other charges that are piled up. It's not going anywhere.
Love it live. Vinny is so handsome. An appellate attorney said yesterday that in the end, Alec will have to claim bad representation to get the verdict overturned, but probably won't work.
Okay.
Is that what Age did ultimately? I know initially she was going for the First Amendment argument, and then, oh no, I don't think she did it publicly, right? But she fired Elaine, and then we thought she was going to say bad representation and threw Elaine on the bus. But yeah, and then at some point they decided to settle.
The tears, the emotions of Alec Murdaugh inside the courtroom, a big, big issue. Chanley asked Jim Griffin about that.
Really?
And also about, you know, the jurors, what they're saying about it. So you'll hear from Jim Griffin, then you'll hear from one of the jurors that we spoke to last night.
They obviously didn't believe him at the end of the day, but they wouldn't have believed him.
What I want to know is, why is this interview so chopped up? I want to hear how the question's being asked, and I want to hear his immediate reaction to it. I don't know. Like I said, maybe we don't get the whole entire interview. We're just getting bits and pieces of it. And maybe we'll get the full segment later on.
You know, based on what they obviously didn't believe him at the end of the day, but they wouldn't have.
Sorry. Let's listen to Jim.
They obviously didn't believe him at the end of the day, but they wouldn't have believed him, you know, based on what they'd already heard.
Yeah, because all the evidence was really strong against him, Jim. You're right. You're right.
Now, I was a little taken aback by some of the jurors saying that he had crocodile tears up there, which is, I mean, I've been living with a guy for months, and I mean, he cries constantly. And if you saw him during the trial, he was.
Wait, what did he say? I was living with the guy for months? Is that what he said? Or I've been with the guy for months?
Crocodile tears up there, which is, I mean, I've been living with a guy for months, and I mean, he cries
I've been with the guy for months? I've been living with the guy for months?
constantly. And if you saw him during the trial, he was over there crying every time there were crime scene photos. And for that, you know, from
Oh my God, why did they have to pause?
some jurors to say he wasn't crying on the witness stand, I mean, that.
It was performative, Jim. I know. You guys are close friends. You don't want to believe it, but it was just performative, you know? It really was.
I mean, that just gives me concern.
I think that from prior witnesses, we already knew that he was able to be very convincing. He was able to be very convincing in court. He's able to go up there on the witness stand, and he knows that he's having to relate to a jury. He's wanting to show those emotions.
I wonder when he was being confronted by the law firm partners, by his own brother, Randy, about all the money he's been stealing. Do you think he also put on the waterworks as well? The snot, the saliva, and all that stuff? As he was telling them, oh, guys, I have a really bad opioid addiction, man. Like, that's the reason why I've been stealing all this money, you know? It's like, even though it's like millions and millions and millions, there's no way I could use all those millions and millions towards buying drugs and using all the drugs. But yeah, man, that's what I've been doing with all the money. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I wonder if he did the same thing. And they're just like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, the snot ball's coming. Oh, my God, the waterworks. Like, maybe we should back off of him.
And we already know that he's able to do that. So I think that a lot of the jurors were able to see through that.
Let's bring back in our guests, Eric Bland, Matt Harris with us. Matt, these emotions of Alec Murdaugh, jury obviously did
go ahead,
not
Matt.
buy 'em.
Go first.
Many of the jurors who've spoken afterwards talking about, you know, I didn't see tears.
Yeah. Well, one thing, let me be very clear that we've been talking about for the last half hour, whatever it is. The things that I'm saying don't make me say that Alec did not commit the murders or he's not a scumbag. He is. It's just about how the defense is handling it. It's how the jurors are talking and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I think when Jim was saying earlier that, you know, he thought he didn't get a fair trial. I don't think he's referring to that there was jury issues or whatnot. I am assuming he's referring to what they're going to go on appeal. And you guys are the bright attorneys. Just thinking out loud as a dumb podcast guy, that they're going to go after the fact that all his prior bad deeds were let in. And it wasn't to motive. I'm assuming that's what he's going to argue. So he's going to have to stick with that when he's giving interviews, which is the fact that, you know, right there, they're like, we don't buy it because we heard all these times about how Alex lied to all these people. He never seemed to be truthful. He never seemed to be a person who was upfront. He couldn't even remember when he lied to people. And that is all true. I think I shouldn't speak for Jim. What I think he's saying is, once you got all that bad act stuff in, once you got all that past behavior in,
if they want to clear Alex, they have to get 100% proof that someone else was there, and there's no evidence of that. And when I think of they, it needs to be they, as in the family hiring a PI. Okay, not like the defense attorney doing their own investigative work, whatever, but the family, Alec Murdaugh, if Buster believes him, maybe Buster, they need to hire a fucking PI, okay? They need to hire a PI, because if they really think that he's, there's an injustice here and he's being wrongly jailed, hire a freaking PI then. But we don't think that ever really happened. Yeah.
This jury was not going to believe any emotion that Alec portrayed or genuinely felt. And, I've talked to you, Vinny, about this from the very beginning. I think it's if you see him crying and you're pro-Alec, you're like, oh, the poor guy. And if you're anti-Alec, you're like, he's faking it. It's just you just believe what you want to believe. I don't know the answer. But I think that's what Griffin is saying, that this hole was dug so deep that there's nothing Alec could do that would have had them to believe any emotion was real.
Want to play Jim Griffin again here?
Alec reminds me of the fucking dandelions in my damn yard right now. Dude, their roots are so damn deep. It's too deep, man. I can't even pluck them out. He's already said it in his lies, and he just can't undo them.
And that juror that we spoke to last night, talking about the clothes and
fucking
how
dandelion.
They could have played a very significant role for the defense. Take a listen.
Everyone wants to know, where are the clothes that he wore to work that day?
Oh, God. What do you think Jim's going to say? I mean, I do recall him letting me borrow some clothes, and, I wore them for a little bit, but then I lost a lot of weight, Chanley, and I donated them to Goodwill. So maybe those were the clothes.
I have no idea. I have no idea. They were clean, and he was in 5 places, and he was picked up on the side of the road. Well,
What, Jim?
he was shot on the side of the road, airlifted, and his car.
What does this have to do with the clothes?
You can see pictures of his car. He's got clothes hanging in the back of his car, and there's a blue shirt hanging back there that Sled probably has. I don't know where.
So you're saying Sled has it?
Where they are. I mean, he's got his khakis were accounted for.
Well, we know that 2 months later, August 11th, law enforcement was able to recover a video where he's wearing slacks and a blue button-down. I believe that those were most likely the clothes that were used that night. I would imagine that they were probably taken off with the guns at the same time.
I know. Okay, so I've been trying to pluck the dandelions out manually, but there's too many of them. I hate doing the spray, but I might have to do the spray. We might have to spray those mother effers down, because there's so many of them, and they multiply like crazy.
And then, at some point in time throughout the night, he changes into those shorts and that T-shirt whenever law enforcement gets there, and that's what they see them in. Unless they were able to just find the guns and find those clothes and just have everything squeaky clean, that to where we knew that they weren't there and they weren't used and that Alex wasn't there, you'd have, well, the thing is that there's evidence that he is there, so that's a really tough question. I'm not sure if there is a piece of evidence that would give me reasonable doubt. I had to make my decision without a reasonable doubt, and I did.
Eric, he was wavering a little bit with me when I was asking him, well, what if, was there any piece of evidence that could have changed your mind from the defense? There really wasn't anything, except he sort of said if they brought in the clothes that he was wearing and they were clean, that would have made him think a little bit more about. But those clothes were nowhere to be found, were they, Eric?
No, and, again, I am a big proponent of Jim Griffin, have my differences with Dick Harpootlian. But you just heard Jim there attack Sled again by saying, well, there was a blue shirt in the car, so Sled may have the shirt, and somehow they're hiding the shirt. This repeated attacking of Sled, I don't think is the best method to attack what happened in that courtroom. I just think that it's...
Wait, how does it work? This? heck is that? It looks scary.
It's gone a little too far. The judge told them in the sentencing, I didn't like the way that you waylaid on Sled for 6 straight weeks. And to insinuate that Sled has the shirt because it was in a car 3 months later, but Jim's avoiding the fact that Blanca testified, that Alex came to her and said, I was wearing a Vinnie Vine shirt. I wasn't wearing a Columbia fishing shirt, right? We know that, right?
I know. Okay, so someone says, I wish the Keno video showed him wearing the clothes. I kept watching the Keno video hoping maybe there was like a corner somewhere where we could see like a little bit of Alec or maybe even like Maggie. But yeah, I didn't see anything. Just the hose.
So I just think that they're stepping on the throat of the government a little too hard. That's all. That's just my opinion. I have another opinion, and that is Matt's got one of the best pompadour haircuts I've ever seen.
No, it's looking
and you
good.
haven't said a word about it, Vinny. You haven't said a word about it.
It looks really good. That's a great observation.
It's my new do, man.
Okay, sorry, that's my next video that's playing. I've been looking at gardening videos and stuff like that. All right, guys, thoughts? I don't know. I feel like there should be a longer Jim Griffin interview out there. I'll keep an eye out if there is any. But so far, that's all we got. Jim Griffin. Let's see if anything pops up in my feed. And then also, someone mentioned that there's a juror that went on Dr. Phil. Let me Google that really quick. Oh, this juror. Yeah, this guy. He's a very interesting guy. Here, can we watch? You want to watch a segment really quick? Oh man, yo, the fact that Alex went to witnesses to be like this. Oh yeah. That was what kind of almost sealed it to me that he was guilty, because I felt like, if he didn't try to get, Blanca or Miss Shelley to say certain things, and it's not like the two of them were even close to each other. They're like both separate people that work for the Murdaughs, different households, and they both have to say the same thing. This is a guy who, thought he could influence people and probably even try to bribe them a little bit. Because remember with Miss Shelley, he was like, oh, I heard you're getting married, If you need help with that, I can help you. And that was after he told Miss Shelley, I was at my mom's house for 30 to 40 minutes, okay? So just get these guys in a one room, bring some Jack, let them go wild. That'd be entertaining. The whole thing with Blanca saying he had a different shirt on, we were looking at the shirt. It was probably not a polo like Bianca stated. Wait, hold on. The whole thing with Bianca saying he had a different shirt on, we are looking at a shirt. It was not a polo like Bianca stated. Oh, are you talking about like the, I think what she mentioned was that he had like didn't he have like a long sleeve on top or something, and he had like his collar was messed up and she was like trying to fix it for him? That's what I remember. All right, guys, here's a Dr. Phil. Actually, can I use the restroom really quick? I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. And then we'll watch this quick Dr. Phil one. So this is the guy that said that he didn't see any tears whatsoever. He just saw like snot, spit or whatever. James was actually the one who was like, no, I saw tears. But I think he said that like most of the tears he thought was like probably like orchestrated. I think that's what he said. There's clips. Okay, we'll watch this one. And then you guys let me know. You guys let me know if Jim Griffin or Harpootlian does any other interviews. I definitely want to watch them because I do want to hear from them. Okay, Jack is in Jack Daniel's whiskey. Ugh. Jack is gross. Ugh. Ugh. There's so much wildlife there. What I liked best was to restore the gardens. They've been neglected for many years. It was so rewarding to make things aesthetic again. Wait, okay, hold on. Can I go off topic for a second? I promise you I'm going to go back to the topic. So right now, I ordered rocks, mulch. I got landscaping fabric for the area where the rocks is going to be underneath. We're going to put about like 2 inches of rocks, 3 inches of mulch, right? But I have to get like an edging material. Initially, I was going to get an edging material, like a plastic one to divide the rocks and the mulch. But then I heard that the plastic one is crap and you're better off spending more money to get the metal ones. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Is it hard to do? Do you think I can do it on my own? I'm not shoveling out trenches though. I'm just going to get the one where I can just hammer the metal edging in. But is there any tips and tricks or anything like that? And then also you have no idea what I'm talking about. Just ignore me. No, because I feel like I might have some people who know landscaping stuff. Okay, I need your knowledge. And then also the area where I'm putting rocks in, that's where all the stupid dandelions are. Most of them are hacked away, but their roots are coming out right now because it's been raining a lot. It's been a lot of sunshine. So, like, do I need to get rid of the weeds fully first and then put on the landscaping fabric and then the 2 inches of stone? Or can I just, like, spray some weed killer or, like, put, like, the weed killer seeds in? Or, like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? Yeah, plastic can decompose and you have all the plastic chips laying around. Okay, yeah, we're not going with plastic. We're going with the metal ones. Sorry, landscaping stuff is like, oh, it's crazy, okay? Corky, when you're landscaping, I've got 1.5 acres. Oh, I don't have that much land. It's just like a front yard that's like, I don't know. I mean, my front yard and backyard is like a lot of like square footage, but it's like, I don't know. Should I do it myself? With the Fisker tools, getting the dandelion out is so quick. Okay, where can I get them? At like Home Depot? I don't know if I've seen them at Home Depot before. Here's my landscaping advice. Have you tried moving the dirt around? That's it. That's all I got. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, don't use Roundup. That's what I heard too. Don't use Roundup. That stuff is horrible. Yeah. I was watching some other YouTube videos about, they were recommending some other weed killers, but I don't know if they're just as bad as Roundup. But yeah, I just don't want to, here's the thing. I don't want to also like destroy the soil as well. In case, I mean, I guess I don't really care. It's going to be underneath the rocks anyways, but I don't want it to spread out to like the plants because I'm going to have a mulch bed where all my plants are going to go. Make sure to remove the dandelions before they blossom and then before they make their seeds. Yeah, we made the mistake of not doing that maybe a month ago because a lot of them had their seed heads on. But yeah, right now they're all like crap. I would advise to try to avoid weed killers. They impact the nature so badly. Okay, so that's why I've been doing it the physical way. Hi, how are you doing today? Some people recommended using vinegar too, but that was only with the weeds that were on the sidewalk area. I don't know if they advise using vinegar if it's like in ground. All right, fine. I'll try to do do I make my own compost? No, I might learn how to though, but not right now. Hello. Steve is here. Hi. I want to do my yard. There's a lady next to me who crawls around and rips all the weeds off my hand. That's me right now, but I have bad back issue. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. No more weed talk. But if y'all have any other tips, please give them to me, okay? Let's listen to this really quick, and then... What? Lawn mower robot? Well, I'm only trying to get rid of the weeds. I don't have any grass. I have no grass whatsoever. It's all mulch and it's all going to be in the future stone. So right now it's completely mulch, right? But I want to have a segment out where it's going to be stone and mulch. I have no grass. I heard of bodies of those. Wait, what? I hear bodies of those who did you wrong make great compost. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with like the areas I'm going to stone. All right, guys. Let's watch this quick little segment with Dr. Phil. We've already heard from this juror before, but let's see if he says anything different about the trial.
There was a question about whether your dad said, I did him so bad or they did him so bad. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize your dad's voice?
I do.
If you listen to it, would you be able to tell the jury whether it's I or they?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is so dramatic. Hold on. I'm going to forward it a little bit. Oh, here it is. Okay. Murdaugh murder trial, dissection of the guilty verdict. Oh my God, he they both look so tiny on their like big old chairs. Look at the little legs dangling.
Clearly tried to help his dad when he took the stand, but Craig Moyer, juror 578, said it was Alex's shocking admission that he lied to police about being at the kennels the night of the murders that did him in.
Mm-hmm.
Did you lie to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th
It's okay. It's only 5 minutes long.
and told them that you stayed at the house after dinner?
I did lie to them.
And in the interview of August 11th, did you tell Agent Owen and Agent Croft, did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes. On June the 7th?
Oh, thank you. Salt on weeds? Okay, I've heard of salt and I've heard of vinegar. Thank you.
I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't think I was capable of reason.
And also, I feel like anytime he talked on the stand and like it was about like Maggie or Paul, I just didn't really get a sense of sadness there. It was just like anger and defensiveness.
And I lied about being down there.
And especially towards the judge, it was a lot of like eyebrow furrowing and like, how dare you not believe me type of attitude.
And I'm so sorry that I did. I'm sorry to my son Buster. I'm sorry to Grandma and Papa T. I'm sorry to both of our families. Most of all, I'm sorry to Mags and Pawpaw.
So dramatic.
Didn't believe that, did you?
Not at all.
And at the time, you didn't believe it when you were watching it.
No, sir.
What were you saying to yourself while you're sitting in the jury box watching that?
It's kind of disgusting in my mind.
Didn't believe it.
I'm sorry. The audio is so low. I don't know who's putting out these videos. Guys, check your audio. It's so low.
I didn't.
When you went into the jury room at the end, they send in you a jury charge with instructions
Should be better now.
and elements of the crime and the question. When y'all first got in there, did you sit down and read through that?
We did.
As soon as that was over, did you take just a general vote about how people felt?
We did.
Was it by private ballot?
It was anonymous.
That was when it was 9-2 and undecided?
Correct.
Yeah. Was anybody surprised that there were 2 not guilties?
I wasn't really, because I think the defense was trying to throw everybody off.
Do you think they had
Exactly. He thought I was going to get away with it.
any argument that resonated or caused doubt among anybody?
The main thing was the Snapchat video. I mean, that was key evidence. And him on
Hey, leave him alone. He's just a chill dude, okay?
stand
Craig's up there. He's just a chill ass guy.
saying he was there after lying 3 times.
Did the defense have anything that stuck out that was good for Alex?
Not in my eyes.
No, not anything.
Not
Not
really.
one thing they said shook you or any of the ones that you know about?
Not really. Not when everything started coming out, no.
Yeah. How early in the 6 weeks was it clear to you that this man was guilty?
Probably around week 5.
Week 5? Was that the end of the trial?
Yeah. And
When he
How many, the trial was like what, 5-6 weeks or something, right?
testified.
yeah. Did you feel like he was trying to manipulate?
Yes.
Yeah. What about him bothered you the most?
Seems very,
Yeah, that's just an awkward interview, okay?
very deceiving.
Whenever he would talk about things that seemed critical, he would turn to the jury and look at you guys.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that you turn towards the jury and you speak to them directly. But if you do that all the time, like this, then that's just really fucking weird.
Did you look at him when he did that? Did
I
he try
did.
to make eye contact
I
with
did.
you? And did that work with anybody? Did anybody comment on that?
I did on Good Morning America, even on Today's Show. It was fine. I thought it was okay. There was like 2 of them sitting on the couch. They're all wearing blue, and then James is there. I thought it was fine. When Alec took the stand, Jody. Oh God. We still haven't finished watching the cross-examination of Jody Arias, but it's a lot. that's a lot. I don't know. That's like a whole. That's like almost as long as like the Murdaugh trial. Just her being on the stand. If you count her direct and you count her her cross examination, she was up there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, not crying. He didn't have any tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
That was from me to you to him. So
That was a big one for you.
yes, it was.
Yeah. A lot of the times when he was saying, no, I didn't do it, he was shaking his head, yes. Did you notice that?
I did a lot.
Did that bother you?
I had it stuck in my mind for a long time.
Yeah.
Wondering why he was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a story?
Okay, that's about it. I mean, I think it's the same thing as the other interview that he did. She was creepy. She just looked at them even during objections. Wait, which one? Oh, I thought you meant J.A. I thought you meant the Jodes. 6 weeks. Objection, leading. Yo, can you guys talk louder? I don't know. It's just sometimes when they put out their YouTube videos, it's just really low. I tried. All right, guys. You know what? I don't think we got any more interviews today. Do we? Anything else? Oh, there was something that I did want to watch. Oh, wow. By the way, guys, they did a whole recap for the Murdaugh trial on Law and Crime. So, I was thinking about doing a whole recap, but man, that's a lot of work. I don't know. I already did the first couple. I think I did the first couple weeks of trial recap, and then the weeks after that, and then yeah, I haven't done it since. It's a lot of work. I have not listened to the jail phone calls. No. Yeah, apparently there's jail phone calls between Alec and his son, and then there's one that just popped on my feed recently with him and his brothers. But yeah, I haven't listened to those yet. Oh, what's this? Bryan Kohberger arrested with latex gloves? Wearing latex gloves? Hold on, what's this?
Welcome back. New developments this morning in the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students. Bryan Kohberger, of course, is awaiting a preliminary hearing. That has been set for June in the state of Idaho. We're learning more now about
June 27th, guys. Mark your calendars.
About his arrest in Pennsylvania. He was taken into custody at his parents' home in Pennsylvania. And yesterday, the Monroe County Assistant District Attorney, Michael Mancuso, shared more about what Kohberger was allegedly doing in that time with...
Wait, was he wearing latex gloves when they were arresting him?
BRC-TV 13. Take a listen.
Mr. Kohberger was found awake in the kitchen area.
Is he preparing chicken or something? I know some people wear latex gloves when they prepare chicken because they don't like touching slimy things.
In shorts and a shirt and wearing latex medical type gloves, and apparently was taking his personal trash and putting it into separate Ziploc baggies.
Oh.
Another development. While prosecutors have not announced that they are going to pursue the death penalty in the quadruple murder case, a judge has granted the defense request for a death penalty qualified attorney to join his legal team. You can see where this obviously is going. Still with us in
Yeah, he's got another attorney representing him also.
South Carolina, former prosecutor and slave.
Interesting. So if you're facing the DP, you have to get a death-qualified co-counsel. Interesting. I had no idea.
Agent Tommy Pope and in New York, trial attorney Bruce Rosenberg. Innocent until...
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's just really OCD in sorting his trash. Yeah, sure. I wear gloves when cooking onions, garlic, or raw meat. Yeah, Dennis does. He doesn't like touching chicken. But maybe I should start doing that, too, because I get really dry hands because I wash my hands a lot.
Proven guilty, but every day seems to be another bit of information that piles on to making it look like they might have the right guy here after all of this. Tommy, what's your...
Yeah, I want to know what Kohberger's going to say, you know, what his defense is going to be. Because so far, I think that he's just going to be like, yeah, you know, I knew them. I was invited to their house parties. That's why my DNA was there. Yeah. Oh, my knife sheath. Well, you know, I was talking to Madison Mogen one day and she wanted to see my knife, but I just left my knife sheath there somehow. You know, I feel like he's just going to say something like that. Or he's going to be like, oh, the reason why I drove by that house so many times is because I was actually friends with the neighbors, you know? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I want to see what kind of lies he's going to craft because, you know, this also seems like a type of guy who probably thought he was going to get away with it, you know? Weeks goes by, he does a cross-country road trip, he like studied criminology, so maybe he thought he was going to be smarter than the investigators, but he ended up not knowing shit because they had the cell phone stuff, the car stuff, so...
Your take on this investigation, what it's yielded, and then this latest bit where they come barreling into the house in the wee hours, and there's the guy with his gloves going through his trash into...
What is this guy doing? I'm sorry, I didn't really expect him to do that. Let's watch it again. I like that.
And there's the guy with his gloves going through his trash into...
He's like doing some Edward Scissorhands shit.
Little baggies.
I've always been a prosecutor. I've never done defense work, but first thing I think the defense is looking for today is somebody to testify that that was the cleanest guy they ever knew and always took care of his trash. And but I'm not sure you're going to see that. I was thinking about the death penalty component too. You know, as this case builds, you know, for me,
Bryan Kohberger got scissors for fingers.
The death penalty decision, again, using Murdaugh as an example, because it was circumstantial, it wasn't the nature of the crime. It was the fact that, you know, you don't want to push a jury too far. But if they have good, tight evidence, if the DNA comes back that matches the buccal swab and the snap on the knife.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys caught what he just said, but so some people are wondering why Murdaugh wasn't facing death penalty. And it was because they had a lot of circumstantial evidence that showed that he was guilty, but not like, you know, like a mountain full of direct evidence. And so they didn't want to do the death penalty because they think that like, oh, maybe the jury wouldn't feel comfortable convicting if they didn't actually have like a video of Murdaugh committing the crimes, or like Murdaugh caught red-handed with the gun and blood and him actually like with a confession and stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting that he just brought up just now.
And all that. I think there's a decent chance you see the death penalty come to play if they feel like, you know, they're really, really solid on the guilt phase of having their man.
Yeah, I hope they have everything. Like, I hope it's all solid.
Yeah, and you know, there's so much we don't know yet in terms of what came back in those search warrants, Bruce. They took apart that vehicle, the white sedan, and if there is any DNA of those victims in that thing, we're talking case closed most likely. What is your take on the new information that we heard from this prosecutor
Are we gonna get an interrogation video, or did he like lawyer up ASAP?
In Pennsylvania, that he was up at 2, 3 in the morning and he's handling his garbage with latex gloves?
It's quite interesting, Ted. I mean, I think the timing there is is quite interesting. I think I read somewhere that it was at 1:30 or 2 in the morning as opposed to later in the morning. Typically, it's my understanding that arrests take place early in the morning, but not that early in the morning. I think that, as Tom said, hey, fastidious. This guy, maybe he's the cleanest guy in the world. Maybe he had a reason that he didn't want his personal items to be mixed up with his parents' personal items. I can't say that it looks that good, but people...
Yeah, it sounds kind of weird. I always wonder, why is it that someone sentenced to death gets to live like 20 plus years before the actual execution? What's up with that? Well, it is very hard to execute someone. You go through the appeals process. That's very lengthy. It takes a lot of time. And then sometimes if the state only does the lethal injection, that was also really, really hard to get as well. There's some sort of like chemical or some compound or something that's like really tough to get. That's part of the lethal injection. And like, for example, South Carolina, they couldn't get the lethal injection for like, I think years. So that's why they put in a bill to do like, well, you know, if we can't do lethal injection, then let's do death by electrocution or firing squad, depending on what the prisoner wants to choose. So yeah, sometimes like it's just a process. But you know what's messed up? I watched this video about Japan. So Japan does the they do the death penalty, but they do it by hanging. And what's like sort of kind of interesting is that they don't want the person who like presses the button, I guess, that causes the death, they don't want that person to like have nightmares or something like that or be scarred. So what they do is they have like I don't know, I think they have like 2 buttons, and then they have 2 people there, and they press the button, but they don't tell the person who was the one that pressed the button that caused the execution. That was 1. And then 2, what's kind of messed up with Japan as well is, what's kind of messed up with Japan, like separately, is that when you're on death row, they don't tell you when you're going to get executed. So you're just sitting there and you don't know when it's going to happen. Like, just imagine just sitting there. Like, you can be executed tomorrow or a couple years from now. They don't freaking tell you. That's such a that's such a mind fuck. But anyways, firing squad works. Yeah, I feel like I'd rather do a firing squad than electrocution, because electrocution sounds painful. I don't know. And especially if it doesn't zap you right away. Like, but all I know is hanging just sounds the worst, okay? Heck no to the hanging, and the electrocution just sounds horrible. Like, I guess the firing squad, and hope they have good aim. I don't know. Ugh.
People, have their own interesting complexities.
Oh, really? It's like the firing squad. Each shooter is told they have a blank in their rifle. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there's this YouTube video that I watched. I think the channel's called like Infographics. They just cover like really random stuff, and I used to watch it randomly when I was like streaming on Twitch, just like on breaks.
OCD, other complexes that make people act in the manner they do. This just could be part of his personality. Without more, it's hard to say. On the other hand, somebody wanting to hide or not provide DNA so that he can't be identified or connected to the evidence at the murder scene is also a possibility. So we're going to have to wait and see with bated breath what the DNA evidence turns out to be.
Yeah, and again, in that prelim, we should find out a lot in June. We learned so much from that probable cause affidavit that was released in terms of what investigators did to get to that point. And Tommy, as with your...
Oh, God, I don't know if we want to dig into this. This sounds painful. Okay, we'll talk about the putting animals down by a second.
Experience as a SLED agent, I mean, reading that must have been something for you, because they really did have, out of the gate, they had the sheath with a little DNA on it, but it didn't hit initially, that match, and so then it was this video canvassing, the DNA combined, and then the cell towers. What did you think overall? I mean, a lot of people were bagging this investigation as it was dragging on. Even some family members were raising their eyebrows. Now, at this point, what did you think, as a former investigator, about the way they handled this?
You want the guillotine, bring the crowd. Oh, God. You want to have the whole Ned Stark gallery thing happening?
Again, we get numb from watching TV all the time, but I thought it was very impressive that they were able to track him down across the country. We had a case one time, the guy killed his parents, headed up the East Coast, and we were able to recover the murder weapons and everything from a dumpster halfway up the interstate because of quick action by law enforcement. So sometimes on the outside, we think they're dragging their feet, or, we're second guessing. And as you alluded to earlier, I think Bruce said, there's reasons we can't always know everything publicly, so law enforcement can piece it together. So it sounds to me like they got their man and they're working hard, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so.
Yeah, innocent until proven guilty. The judge also clarified the gag order in this case, ordering, yes, the attorneys from either side, as well as attorneys for any witness, cannot give any information to the media regarding Kohberger's pending trial. But in regards to witnesses, she said this: she is not ordering clients, i.e. witnesses, not to talk to the media, but stressed this case should be not tried in the media, but in the court of law. It is a ruling that the family of victim Kaylee Gonzalez appears to appreciate. They released this statement.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of death penalty as well, because it's so expensive. And then, like you said, yeah, if it's an innocent person, that's really sad. I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say, because I had another thing I was going to say, and then my door freaking opened. Yeah, I don't really like the death penalty either. Not a huge fan of it. An eye for an eye. Japan has the best system. There are more than 100 million CCTV cameras in the U.S. It's not hard to track somebody, not to mention the phone data. Huh? In America? In America?
Commenting on the gag order, not applying to them, thanking the media. For keeping the story alive.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm not a huge death penalty person either, but sometimes when, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when someone could just, when there's a person that just like, I don't know. There's some people I'm just like, oh, death penalty upon you, you know, but that's because I'm letting my emotions run. Yeah, there are some really severe cases where you're like, dude, I hope they get the death penalty. But yeah, but I think overall, I don't really support it.
They said in part, we firmly believe it was the coverage by the media of the victims' families, numerous witnesses, and undeniable evidence that led to an arrest in this case.
Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate the two. Thank you. Thank you.
When you have a case of this magnitude, Bruce, everybody is on high alert, involved in it, including the judge, including especially the prosecutors, because you don't want to fumble this thing and you don't want something odd to happen, especially given what we know. How does the fact that the entire world is fascinated beyond belief by these horrible crimes and how this could happen, how does that change the way people do their daily business in terms of progressing now to preliminary hearing and then trial?
Well, I think that the information outside can affect the jury. I think that media coverage, discussions, the internet, all provide instant information to.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to speedy everything out, because in Alex Murdaugh's scenario, I think they pushed some cases around just so they can get Alex Murdaugh in trial like ASAP, because he was arrested in like July and he got trial like almost like 6 months-ish later.
People all around the world. And I think the interest in the case is because of the graphic nature and the horror of it. And I think the judge is correct in being concerned about what is said, to whom it's said, and when it's said, because you don't want to affect the jurors who are considering the evidence in the case. And the judge is absolutely correct in saying,
I think that's what
the case really needs to be tried in a court of law and not in a court of public opinion, because, as Tom said, we don't know everything yet. We haven't seen all the evidence. We don't know what's going to come out yet, and the defendant is entitled to be presumed innocent until found guilty. So we have to wait and see. And so I respect the judge's ruling to want to keep communication and commentary to a minimum.
Yeah, and again, we haven't heard from the state if they're going to pursue the death penalty yet. They have lots of time to make that decision public, but the news this morning is that the defense has retained and added to their team a death-qualified attorney. It likely, if you have a death penalty in a state, this one, if families are on board, I would think is a go.
Yeah, because sometimes the family members, they might oppose a death penalty. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. That is it for today. And yeah, if you guys miss any part of the stream, we'll make the stream live, public, in a couple seconds after it ends. And then sometimes I will chop up the video. Am I going to chop it up? Yeah, I'll chop up Jim's interview. So if you guys missed it earlier, we watched Jim Griffin. He interviewed with Chanley Painter. It was really short and chopped up, though, so maybe they'll have a full one later on. Maybe they'll upload it, and I'll look forward to that, because I definitely do want to watch it and see anything else that he might say, because I think it'd be really interesting to hear. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you're new here, thanks for chatting. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. Yeah, thank you for the super chats. Feel free to join Discord if you like. Discord's our little, where we have our little community stuff going on. And if you want to post anything true crime related, feel free to post it in there. If there's anything new going on with the Murdaugh stuff that you want me to cover, yeah, feel free to post it in there as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, I mean, so we already have the live that goes out raw. But yeah, sometimes I just chop it up just for people as well, because, like, you know, they just want to get to the meat of it, which is fine. I'm like that too sometimes. But guys, thank you so much for being here. I will stream again if anything else pops up, and I'll be here periodically. But other than that, I do stream on Twitch. I mainly play video games on there. If you guys like video games, feel free to stop by there. And if not, I'll see you guys later. All right, have a good one, y'all. Take care. I gotta go deal